Yeah, he's running late, so he'll be here.
I'll explain it once you get the free win, but you have to see it and understand it. Just happen. So am I evaluating you then?
Well, well, you're not. Oh, you're evaluator one. Maybe he's not.
You're evaluator?
Yay!
That looks like this one.
Okay,
No.
I thought I was doing it.
Who's evaluator?
Did you meet my friend Michael Cardwell yet? Yeah.
You see the
He's a
Julian
great
review?
man.
I warned him about
Oh,
the.
number one.
Yep. Julian.
Yeah, that's right.
They moved me out. Are you speaking tonight?
Yes.
Yeah, you are. Okay, good. Okay.
Terry, this is my friend Tess. She works in my gym, and this is her husband Aviola.
Nice to meet you.
He might too.
Hey, you were at the gym this morning, right?
Yeah.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Where are you sitting?
I remember the 15 come off.
I don't know where would you like him to sit? Right there? No, come here.
Yeah, me neither. You were talking this stuff.
Oh, I guess I can't.
Central Florida Facilitators, the meeting is now called to order. Thank you.
It is?
Yeah. Ready? Hello and welcome everybody. Welcome guests and fellow Toastmasters. Welcome to April 24th, Wednesday night, Toastmaster Day. If anybody has any cell phones or anything that makes noise at this time, could you please turn them off? If anyone needs to use the restroom, you go out this door here, you make a left, and then on your left, as you're almost going out the front door, you will see the restroom. We have a new mission statement. My new mission statement is that as Toastmasters, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Through this mission, each Toastmaster gains a clear understanding of the club's purpose, and the organization as a whole benefits from a shared set of values and goals. Tonight, I would like to welcome up our fellow Toastmaster and Vice President of Education, Lynn Ayers, to do the thought and pledge.
There we go, yeah.
Our thought for today, it does not pay to come unprepared. I am responsible as Vice President of Education for the schedule and forgot that I had put myself down for thought and pledge. I apologize. So please stand and join me in this pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please help me welcome our President, Toni Gail.
Welcome Toastmasters and guests to Central Florida Facilitators. The name Facilitators was chosen for 3 reasons. One, we are sponsored by the Central Florida Chapter of the American Society of Training and Development, which is the premier organization for professional facilitators. And some of our founding members of this club were members of that organization. 2, a good facilitator needs to be a strong communicator and an effective leader. And what this organization is all about, Toastmasters International, is training people in public speaking or communication and leadership. 3, to facilitate means to make things simple and easy, and we want to make things simple and easy for everyone here tonight. We hope you have a good time and that the evening provides value for you as you work toward achieving your goals. We have some guests this evening, and we like everybody to speak during the meeting. So one way we get our guests involved is for you to stand up and introduce yourself and tell us why you're here. Michael, would you like to start?
Sure.
Yeah.
My name is Michael Cardwell. I am friends with John Dunn. I've been training with him we've been friends for about 10 years. He used to be my trainer a long time ago. But I own a video production company here in town called Market Match Media. We do video production, video marketing, that kind of thing. I'm looking to build my business through selling from the stage, I guess you could say, and doing some public speaking and going to conferences and that kind of thing. And also starting to do some educational things with video, like teaching other people how to do video production and video marketing. So I thought this would be a good place to come to, develop that skill and to build my business. So that's why I'm here.
Thank you, Michael. And Tess, welcome. Please welcome Tess.
I'm Tess Falk. I work at John's Gym. I'm his new massage therapist. 27, newly married. This is my husband, Aviola. We've been together for a long time. So we work together. We're both massage therapists. And I'm here because the chosen one told me that it was a good opportunity to meet some people and kind of just practice marketing and, being comfortable with talking with different kinds of people.
Good. It was great. The floor now.
I'm Aviola Washington. I've been a massage therapist for almost 10 years. Here to come to my wife Tess, and maybe this experience will help me to be a better speaker. That's the thing.
No maybe about it. Probably one experience will help you.
Awesome.
Pretty good, huh? Nikki is not here tonight. Is there someone that can take minutes? Are you good? Thank you very much, Susan. If you'll give that to me at the end with the sheets, I'll take care of the rest of it. All right, as far as business of the club, we have an opening for the position of Vice President of Public Relations. This position ends on June 30th this year, so it's just for the rest of our term, a little over 2 months. I understand we have a member interested in performing those duties. Would you like to nominate yourself? Or do I just put you up for
I nominate Stephen Morgan.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Charlie. Stephen, would you like to address the group before we have a discussion about you?
Pass.
No, tell them. You had some ideas about what you want to do for the club, and I just like to get that out.
All right, if you want to get that part. If you're familiar with the services Google provides online, they have made it available to nonprofit organizations to be able to use some of the premium services they have available. They get to write it off as a donation. We are a nonprofit organization, 503C, and I've already applied for the accounts and we have access, and I've been putting together some of the stuff to see what we might be able to do with it, and it looks like it probably provide us a lot of benefit in getting more information available and making more capabilities available to the members. That's what I was aiming for primarily.
Okay, well, we appreciate it. Thank you. Discussion about Stephen Morgan. Anything anybody would like to say?
I think Steve's been doing an awesome job.
All right, well, let's go have a vote. Oh, do we have to move for the vote? No, let's just vote.
Nominations, but whatever you want. It doesn't really matter.
Okay, all those in favor of Stephen performing the VPPR position, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. The nomination passes. Thank you, Stephen. Welcome.
Hi, Julian. Hey, how you doing, JB?
Welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Fellow Toastmasters are most welcome
I
guests.
believe you're evaluating Charlie. You want to get his manual?
Charlie, I've already evaluated Charlie. I've already written up his
Oh, you've already written it up. Okay. Good
Can I play the
job.
backwards meaning?
All right, Charlie, go ahead.
You're
Will you have the leadership? If you have a meeting.
Yeah.
And does anyone have their competent leadership manuals that you need an evaluation for? Please just review those now. We haven't done that. moving right along. We'll save the rest of the business for the end of the meeting. Let me introduce your Toastmaster for this evening. Pat Stoddard.
Thank you, Toni, for such a lovely introduction. I know a few words are needed to bring me up here. Just get up here. I'd like to start by asking our functionaries to tell us what their roles are this evening. And we will start with our supervisor of elections, which is Susan Morgan. And Susan, excuse me 1 minute before I do that. I just want everybody to notice that we have 3 speakers listen and we're only going to have 2. Susan has stepped up to be the supervisor of elections because we did not have that filled. Charlie's speech will be changed from 5 to 7 to 8 to 10. 8 to 10. And that also leaves Toni with more time to talk about some things that she wanted to talk about. Okay, so now we'll go back to
Okay,
questions.
please let me know, when am I supposed to stop as topics master then?
Table topics masters, you have 10 minutes.
No, when do I stop?
Stop.
When do you want me to stop?
Stop what?
The table topics. Toni, where do you need the time?
Okay, you rock. I will have to tell you that after a few minutes.
We'll play that by ear.
Because we have probably an extra 10 minutes in there.
I got the topic.
You got the topics? Well, we'll just maybe have a whole lot of table topics. I'll check with Toni how much time she needs. She has no idea. So we'll give you both 5 extra minutes. How does that sound?
Can you repeat the time, please, for our timer? Or maybe 2 speeches?
Yes. Charlie Bonmalia is going to be changed from 5 to 7 to 8 to 10.
I'll take 8 to 10.
Toni Giddles is going to take 8 to 10. See, Stephen, I told you I was going to have to check this out. And Nikki is not here this evening. Is that all good for everybody? Yes. Okay, now we'll go back to our precious Toastmaster, Susan Morgan, Supervisor of Elections.
I will pick up ballots for Best Speaker, Best Table Topic Speaker, Best Evaluator, and Most Improved Speaker. I will tally the results for award presentations at the end of the meeting. I will also pick up any comments you might have written for the speakers or any meeting participant and deliver them to the appropriate person.
Thank you. I'm going to ask that we hold all our applause to the end. How's that down? Our next Toastmaster, who is our Wizard of Oz, is Jessica Guthrie.
Good evening, felly Toastmasters. Feeling very close to you tonight. I guess you're my fellies. My job as Awe Counter this evening is to keep track of audible crutches such as ahs, ums, and double clutches, which is repetition, again, making up my own words today, repetition of a word while the speaker searches for their next thought. I will also note sentences strung together with bridge words like and so, and I will sound a buzzer when any of these infractions are heard. The fine for each infraction is 10 cents. Guests and members who have not done their icebreaker will not be fined, but I will keep track just so that you are aware. And just as a reminder, as Awe Counter, I am doing this and I will be sounding the buzzer just to make you aware that you're doing that. Many times you're not even aware that you're making an infraction, and it's just for your information. It's not meant to embarrass you or cause any stress. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Our timer tonight is Miss Patty Herrera.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, Madam Toastmaster. My role as a timekeeper is to responsible for monitoring time for each speaker in each meeting segment. I will operate the timing signal indicating for each speaker how long he or she has been speaking. For our prepared speeches, to qualify for voting, speakers must speak no less than 30 seconds under their range minimum, no more than 30 seconds over their range maximum. I will turn on the green light at range minimum, the yellow at mid-range, and the red at range maximum. For table topic speakers, to qualify, speakers must speak at least 1 minute and no more than 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Green light will be 1 minute, yellow light 1.5 minutes, and red light is 2 minutes. For evaluators to qualify, evaluators will speak a minimum of 1 minute and 30 seconds and a maximum of 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So the light will be green at 2 minutes, yellow at 2.5, red light at 3 minutes. Thank you.
And now for our grammarian, fellow Toastmaster, Gail Smith.
I have chosen for the word of the day something I want 100% usage of. Remember, based primarily on the theme that we have today. As your grammarian, I have chosen the word of the day, which is remember. It is a verb. Actually, it could be used as a noun, but here, verb, recall something forgotten, keep something in memory, give somebody a gift, send somebody greetings, commemorate somebody or something. A sentence, I have put it in. I need to remember that to use the word remember when given an opportunity to talk during any weekly Toastmaster meeting will save me 25 cents. As a grammarian, I will be keeping track of those who use the word of the day. For Toastmasters who are members, if you have been given an opportunity to stand up and talk and you don't use the word of the day, I'll let you know, and you're going to cough up a quarter. Guests, don't worry. If you are asked to stand up and to speak, if you remember to use remember, great, good for you. But you won't get fined 25 cents if you don't. Also, remember, I will be listening for colorful imagery and exceptional use of vocabulary and grammar, and at the end of the morning and the end of the evening, I will be reporting on its effective or not so effective use. Madam Toastmaster.
Moving right along, I will introduce our first speaker of the evening. Our first speaker. Our first speaker will be speaking from Speaking to Inform Manual. It's Project 2, Resources for Informing. Her title of her speech is What Leadership Have to Do with It? Her objectives are, 1, if you'll notice in your, I can't remember. Your first objective is to analyze the audience regarding your chosen subject. The second objective is to focus presentation at audience level of knowledge. 3, build supporting cases for each major point using information fathered through audience understanding. Please help me welcome our president, Toni. Yes.
Here, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, especially those that attend Toastmasters become a more effective communicator. You've heard me say over and over at the opening of the meeting that Toastmasters is about communication and leadership. The communication or public speaking aspect of Toastmasters is fairly clear for people to understand pretty readily because there's a manual and there's different skills that you're learning as you proceed through the manual. And that's the main part of the program that we call communication. Anyone, though, who is a strong leader first has to be an effective communicator. So we start you out with the communication manual. It has 10 speech projects, and you should know that when you finish that manual, there are 15 advanced manuals for you to work from, depending on your needs in your career or your personal life. So what's leadership got to do with it? Other than saying, did you bring your leadership manuals? We don't talk very much about leadership unless there's a specific item that we need to talk about. Let's do that though in the next few minutes because I'd love to see everybody really fully engaged with the leadership aspect of the program and supporting each other in going through the different leadership tracks. According to Toastmasters International, through its member clubs, Toastmasters helps men and women learn the art of speaking, listening, and thinking, vital skills that promote self-actualization, enhance leadership, foster human understanding, and contribute to the betterment of mankind. Every now and then I remember to read those quotes about why I'm here and what I'm supposed to be learning. And I get a much bigger vision than I normally would of just working in a manual, coming to the meeting, going home, coming back to the meetings. It's really much bigger, and those of you who have been Toastmasters a long time know that there are tremendous benefits both in your personal life and in your careers. To put it simply, this program can assist you to have a better life. How cool is that? See, aren't you in the right place? Oh yeah. The skills taught in this program are skills for living each day more fully, for being more effective in any activity in which you are engaged, and improving the overall quality of your relationships. You apply these skills constantly, and it's probably very unconscious, especially for those of us that have been working in the program for many years. The core of the leadership program are the 10 skills in the Confident Leader Manual. So this is your manual, you're all familiar with it. Most of you, looking around, have finished this manual. I only see a couple of you that are still in the process of working it. What I love about Toastmasters very much is that it's a do-over program. Now you don't get do-overs in life, but in Toastmasters, you can do this manual over and over again until you get it right, until you learn what you came here to learn. The same is true with the communication manual. And I know I've completed 4 manuals, so I'm still working on my leadership skills, as we all are. I'd like you have a set of handouts in front of you. I'd like you to look at number 1. I couldn't find anywhere in one place a description of all of the different skills that you're learning in the leadership manual. So I thought I'd put it all together so you could see it, because it's very impressive when you read a description of the skill and how it benefits you in your life. Listening and leadership, critical thinking, giving feedback, time management, planning and implementation, organizing and delegating, developing facilitation skills, motivating people, mentoring, and team building. When you develop a facility with these skills, you take these skills, you take yourself out into the world. A lot of you are running businesses, some of you are employees, but these skills will help you in any position that you have in business or in your career. You might be mentoring youth, running a nonprofit, or raising money for a nonprofit. Gail is currently planning her daughter's wedding, and I know she's using her leadership skills to do that. year, I spent 3 months planning my mother's 95th birthday party. Boy, did planning and implementation and facilitation skills and organizing and delegating came in handy because I needed a team to pull that off. It was a big bet. I'd like you to just study that at some time or include it in your manual so you can reference that, and turn to page 2. This is another information sheet that I put together so you can see what the leadership program is all about in a little different way when you looked at it. So you have the skills, the project number, the skills, and you have the contents of what's in that chapter or that project, which is quite extensive. And then you have the roles at the meeting or at the club level that will help you fulfill and train yourself on those particular skills. So every week at the meeting when you come in here, you're not only practicing communication, but you are practicing leadership skills quite extensively. Obviously, when you're the timer, like Patty is tonight, she's practicing time management. When you're evaluating a speech, you're doing quite a bit. You're practicing listening, critical thinking, giving feedback, planning, organization, mentoring, and time management as well, as you only have 2 to 3 minutes to deliver your speech. When you're an out-counter, you're practicing listening and taking notes. So the idea is that throughout the entire meeting, and for our guests, we are constantly practicing these skills. That is the way the meeting is set up and it's designed. Now, we don't stand up here and teach listening. We do listening. We don't teach a lot of the skills, and that is the design of it. We actively participate and we engage in the skills. And that is totally done on purpose to differentiate it from other programs. You can read a book on leadership, but does that make you a better leader if you haven't gone out and been a leader? Turn now to the third handout. This is the leadership track. I just want to refer to the Competent Leader Manual one more time. You should all be familiar with the page near the beginning. It's called the Project Completion Record. Again, even if you have completed this book, I would encourage you to always be working in the basic leadership manual because it does facilitate you learning the skills faster and becoming more effective at all of these skills. Plus, it gives the club credit for the skills as well. All right, so the third page is the leadership track. When you finish your Competent Leader, you have a lot of skills that you've been practicing, but that's not the end of the program. We have people working at all different levels in this program right now. You'll see Competent Leader is the first, Advanced Leader Bronze, Advanced Leader Silver, and then Distinguished Toastmaster, which Jessica, as you know, just completed that final stage, and Gail is close on her tail. So we're all at different stages, but the program works. It doesn't matter where you are or if you're just new and beginning the program, because we all support each other and we all help each other with the tracks that we're working on and the projects that we're working on. I was recently at a banquet, and Dennis Woldridge said stunning words. Keep moving forward, he said. Today you're more than you were yesterday. Tomorrow you'll be more than you are today. The final handout tells you about leadership opportunities that are currently going on in the club and that we need your assistance. If you remember when you took the Toastmaster promise, there's a whole page of what you promised to do, mostly supporting each other, being prepared. One of the promises is to serve my club as an officer when called upon to do so. So consider yourselves called upon to do so. Many of you have served many times over. We do have both elections coming up, and we do have our 10th anniversary banquet, which is a big leadership project. I need you all to participate, especially in the banquet. Before you leave tonight, I'd like you to fill out the form and return it to me. Finally, leadership. I hope you can see that leadership is fundamental to your daily activities, both communication and leadership. If that's what you're looking for, you're in the right place. Stay here as long as you like. Madam Toastmaster.
Our next is attached to 1 minute, please. Or broadcast is a little piece of paper here that has different titles on it, and if you'd like, you could put down your comments about what you thought of the person's speech, and then later on you'll get the opportunity to vote for who you thought was the best speaker. Our next feature is attached to Toastmasters not only to improve his speaking skills, but also to enjoy the friendship that is born out of common cause. It actually serves him also as a healing tool as he continues to hone in his speaking skills in spreading goodwill and making awareness of causes that are special to him. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Charlie Bombalier on his speech, 14 seconds.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. The home just got broken into. Was it yours? Maybe yours? Perhaps yours? The FBI says that every 14 seconds a home is broken into in the United States. These are facts only for homes. It's not including businesses. It's not including robberies on the streets, bank robberies, commercials, anything. Just home invasions. Guess what? Between July and August of this year, they're expecting to change that 14 seconds to 13 seconds because of the volume increases between those months and because of the crime rate getting worse and worse due to the economy that we have. I own an alarm business, but I'm not here to sell you an alarm. I'm here to make you aware of things you can do to protect your home even without an alarm system. I would suggest that everyone has an alarm system if you own a home, but it's not necessary. Let's start with the outside perimeter. Your shrubs, your trees, your bushes around your windows. Make sure they're low. Also, I would advise, especially if you have children in the home, you put rose bushes or anything with thorns on the windows. If you're going to say to me, oh, I don't want my little kid, if he has to jump out the window in a fire, to get hurt, I'd rather have him, a few thorns have him taken out of him than have him hurt by somebody breaking into the window and kidnap him. Because they don't want to take a kid away with thorns on him. So that's not going to happen. your lights around your perimeter of the house. Make sure that you have spotlights that are motion detected so that you save electricity, but anything that startles them will make them go somewhere else. Remember, the idea of this exercise is to protect your home and discourage them from going into your house. Make them go next door. I have a sign that I want to put up, but my wife will not let me do it. Of course, I have alarm signs in the yard, but I want to put a sign out that says, if you're going to break into my house, please remember to bring an ID so that the police can notify the next of kin. She won't let me do it. So I do the alternative. I did put in an alarm system. Here's where you have to be careful with an alarm system. They're great, but you have to know what their purpose are. There's only two main purposes for an alarm system. One is for when you're away, and two, when you're home. When you're away, yes, it protects because hopefully you will put a sign. Let me show you what I mean as I unveil my work of art, my homemade device. This is your typical alarm system. Has a horn, that's what it comes with, a basic horn, your keypad, the brains of the operation, which is considered a control panel, which I can't open now, but I have to because there's something I have to show you. Behind this is the control panel, the motherboard, which is actually the alarm system. It's a little computer. This part here is an accessory to the alarm system in case you don't have a home phone. It's a cellular backup system that will only notify your cell phone. You don't need a home phone to do that. The basic part of the alarm system is your contacts, which is hardwired or a wireless system. Motion detector, strobe light. This is the most critical part of an alarm system. People are always complaining when they have an alarm system in their home, I can't hear it outside. Exactly. Because it's designed to wake you up if you're home or to startle a burglar when they come in. You want your neighbors to know that you have an alarm system, first of all. And second, the fact of the matter is that if you want them to be startled, put an exterior sign. Guarantee you, my house is this big. It's a horn. 3 streets down, they hear my siren go off. And they heard it quite often because my grandkids come in and they forget the alarm and it goes. And my house is like Fort Knox because I play with everything we have. Here's the other important part to know. If you decide that you need an alarm system, do not be fooled by the mainstream alarm companies. Free. There are no free lunches. 0 free lunches. Never sign a 60-month contract unless you like throwing money out the window. And that's what they're pushing for now. If you look hard enough, you will find an honest alarm company, because there are a few out there, mostly the smaller ones, that will do an alarm system for your house without a contract. Here's where they get you. Free alarm systems to them means they will put a control panel without a wireless backup, cellular backup, and they will give you all of 3 contacts for your doors in one motion. Here's the fact about motion detectors. Motion detectors is a secondary backup alarm system. If a burglar comes in and they get in the path of that motion, like you'll see it blinking red if it's working because I didn't plug it in long enough to charge the battery. it'll catch you and they'll go off. Here's the lies that they tell you. All your windows will be protected, everything will be protected. Go get them. Sign here. Well, the fact of the matter is, at night you can't use your motion detector because you set your own alarm off. It's only when you're out of the house. When you're at home, here's the real fact of an alarm system. You have, if it goes off, it will wake you up if you have the right horn in there. And it gives you an opportunity, if you're so deemed, to grab this. I didn't bring one, obviously, but this is the home to my Smith & Wesson 357 Magnum. If you're afraid to shoot someone, the alternative is keep this by your bed. Wasp.
Yes.
It shoots 20 feet, and it will burn your eyes something fierce. And then hopefully you got something big enough to crack them across the head. If you're compelled to do it. If not, jump out the window. You want people not to break into your doors? Here's a hinge. The easiest thing I can break into 98% of homes in Florida. They pull this out, all 3 hinges, bring the door out. Take one of these hinges, and these are your normal screws that you put in, the little ones on your hinges. Take one of them out, the middle one, and get you a big nail, even bigger than this, and cut the head off, and insert it in the middle one. Leave it out that much, so that it'll go into the other one, like this. I know it's hard to explain to you, but I guarantee you, they will never take that door out. It's impossible to do it with a nail between it like that. Your slider at home. This is the one I use for my slider. These little latches they have locks, it's a joke. It takes me like 15 seconds to break into one. Do not let people give you free alarms. Make sure that you know what you're buying and have it in black and white, written by an officer of the company, not the salesman, because you'll be gone in 3 weeks and you're out of luck. Madam Toastmaster.
Thinking about Charlie's wonderful speech makes me wonder what he did in the past life. This time, I'm going to ask for a title report.
Toni Middle, her speech, 10 minutes and 26 seconds, she qualifies. And Charlie, 10 minutes and 18 seconds, he qualifies.
If everyone would like to vote for their favorite speaker, please.
1 minute for comments. 1 minute for comments.
Yes. first visited a Toastmaster meeting. It was something different to do once in a while during lunch. Thinking back over these 15 years, he remembers a few table topics that particularly stand out. Here to share those table topics with us tonight, please welcome Advanced Toastmaster Gold, Stephen Morgan.
Thank you, Pat. So that you have a little bit of perspective, I've had to answer each one of these at some point in time because they've each been in a contest that I've been in. So we'll see how everyone else would address these very same questions. For example, what is the perfect age? Patty. What is the perfect age?
Thank you. The perfect age, I think, is 23. It was for me. You are over 21, you're not quite 25, and you're still in your early 20s. You don't feel pressured by your late 20s and 30s. 23 is, to me, the perfect age for learning, school, work. You feel your best. You're not a teenager, but you're not pressured to grow up all the way. Thank you. Thank you.
What is your definition of success, Lynn?
Thank you, Matt, Mr. Table Topics Master. My definition of success is many things. I would say that my definition of success is finding what you love to do and doing it. Someone once said that if you love what you did, it's not a job. So I would have to say that I'm fortunate to have a job that I love, and I don't dread coming to work every day. And I've been very successful at my job. Also, I would say being successful is having, raising your kids to be very moral people and excellent members of society. And some people would define success as having a lot of money. However, I don't define success as having a lot of money. I define success as being happy, enjoying what you do in life, and making the most of what you have. Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
For our guests, Table Topics is intended to do a few things. One of those is to give everyone a chance to speak. And another one is to give everyone a chance to work on speaking off the cuff, impromptu, in those situations that always occur where you're suddenly asked to talk. Here's your chance to practice. I've got enough to include you if you wish. You do not have to. But you see, I won't have to call on Jonathan today because he's doing an evaluation, so you can show him up. In the meantime, I'll go on to the next one. If I only knew. Gail, if I only knew.
Mr. Table Topic Master, if I only knew. Wow. At this age in life, I disagree with Patty. I don't think 24 was great. I'm 61 and I am loving this year. Loved last year as well, and loved 59. But if I knew now what, no, let me rephrase that. If I knew then what I knew now, wow, would my life have been supercharged. It would be almost as if you had a crystal ball in front of you. If I knew at the age of 24 what I know at age 61, what a phenomenal super person this woman would be. For example, if I knew at the age of, let's say, what would be a good age?
35.
35. 35, I had 2 children, young, married at that time about 12, 13 years, very career-oriented, and if I knew then what I know now, I'd still have the 2 children. Wouldn't be married. And in a completely different career path that, wow, I would have loved to have been in back then. The children have been super. They truly are the light of my life. I just returned, just FYI, last week after a week visit with my 8-month-old grandson and my daughter and her husband. But today, if I had known then what I know now, who knows what kind of person I had been. But would I turn the clocks back in reality? No, I don't think so. Because every day, every moment, every year has been a completely new experience.
As a reminder, our timer is keeping the time. If you want to qualify for voting, the green light needs to come on, or at least get to the minute. And you have 30 seconds past the red light, 2 minutes. Would any of the guests like to participate? I'll take the volunteers. Tess wants one. Tess, all right. My fondest childhood memory.
I'm going to pick something that I fondly remember. I have always been a very outgoing girl. I've been really confident in my ability to hang with the guys. So when I was probably about 7, I had a friend that I used to go tree climbing with in my neighborhood. He was my sister's boyfriend at the time, because when you're 7 years old, you have a boyfriend. But we would hang out, and they would hang out separately, because I have a twin sister. That's part of the story. So this was her boyfriend, and we would go tree climbing in my neighborhood. So there was this really, really big tree at the end of the block, and I was always afraid to climb it, but he insisted that this was the tree we were going to climb. So we went up, and I got stuck in the tree. And I had to get my parents to call the fire department and pull me out of the tree like a lost cat. And funnily enough, this young gentleman's father just found my business card at a bank down the road and called me. So we just reconnected, which is very interesting for me, you know, full circle. But I will never forget my tree climbing experiences with Josh Weeder in the cul-de-sac in Maitland.
Would either of the other two like one to participate?
Sure.
Michael, you would like one?
All right, push.
What is your definition of happiness?
Did I get beeped for that? My definition of happiness, I think, has evolved over time. Different times it's been what I have, what I possess. Other times it's been in the relationships I've had, or with the relationship I have with my son. But I think really just the happiest times are just when I'm present in the here and now and living life just right at this moment. And as long as I can do that, I'm not frustrated about yesterday, not thinking about the future, and I can stay focused on on the current situation. I think when I can do that, that's my happiest moment.
I'll give our last guest an opportunity if he wishes. He can pass, it's perfectly fine.
Sure.
Yeah. Right. Oh, I'd like to be off on this one. Today I learned.
Today I learned that anything is possible through communication. That's, I think, one of my biggest challenges growing up as a human being, is just learning to communicate, because that wasn't something that was emphasized growing up. You know, it was more feeling, more kind of intuitive. And as a part of, you know, supporting my wife in this and meeting all of you guys, that's something that I'm currently learning. Yeah, I think that's it.
When I got this one, I was definitely thrown for a bit, but I recovered. Yesterday,
Yesterday makes me think of the Beatles. Yesterday.
How was that?
Yesterday. Well, actually, more than yesterday, I found out that I'm going to be a grandma. That is exciting. That is wonderful. You talk about happiness, and we talk about all the things that if we could have, would have, should have, if we did things different. Like Gail said today, I couldn't be any more happy now than I was at 23, 33, or 43. And I think the 40s are probably one of the best as far as everything goes. Your character, your wisdom, all kinds of things come together in your 40s. And of course I have a daughter going there, so I see that, and that also makes me very happy. It makes me very proud. So yesterday, again, I love today. You know, yesterday is in the past. It's the past, it's the history. So I really feel like, as somebody else said, that if we live today, live in the now, that'll keep us a whole lot happier than thinking about what happened yesterday or possibly what might happen tomorrow. But in 9 months or so, I'm going to have a little baby. So I'm very excited. Thank you.
One more, I believe. In high school, I was a Jessica.
In high school, I was Mr. Table Topics Master. Very interesting question. And I was thinking in my head the scene from The Breakfast Club where they were all different. There was the geek, there was the bad guy, there was all this stuff. But I have to say, what it made me think of right away was I was a good girl in high school. I know, huge surprise there. I did party a little bit more than I should have, but I was mostly a good girl. I was the drum major, I was at the top of my class, I studied, I took dance, I was on crew, I did a lot of different things. Now, my husband also went to high school with me. Everything I just said I was, he was not. He was the bad boy. He actually dropped out when he was 16 and ended up having to go back. He was caught by his mom skipping school because he was walking down the street with a leather collar and spikes sticking out of it. She happened to pass him, but just the one time. Goodness knows he skipped all the time. He was definitely the yin to my yang. And funny enough, it's our 4-year anniversary tomorrow. So sometimes good and bad mix very well. And we have very different memories of high school. And we did know each other back then, but we didn't reconnect until about 20 years later. So you never know who you're going to marry. Here's the table talk.
Timer, can we have a timer's report, please?
Yes. I spoke about perfect age, 40 seconds, qualified. Minimum is 30 seconds. Lynn, the definition of success, 1 minute and 10 seconds, she qualifies. Gail, if I only knew, 2 minutes and 19 seconds, she qualifies. Tess, fondness, the fondness, childhood memory, a fond childhood memory, 1 minute and 17 seconds, you qualify. Michael, a definition of happiness, 51 seconds, he qualifies. Adviola, thank you. Today I learned, 38 seconds, he qualifies. Pat, yesterday, 1 minute and 4 seconds, he qualifies. And Jessica, in high school I was, 1 minute and 18 seconds, and she also qualifies. Thank you,
In the meantime, then, you find the best table topics with off of your sheets and cast your vote for your selection for the best table topic this evening. Our vote counter will be coming around, and our Toastmaster shall now return to the lectern. Thank you.
Next up will be our general evaluator. And the general evaluator evaluates everything that takes place during the meeting. The responsibilities are large, but so are the rewards. The general evaluator role provides excellent practice in such leadership skills as critical thinking, planning, preparation, and organization, time management, motivation, and team building. Serving as our general evaluator for this evening is Lynn Ayers, our Vice President of Education. Please help me welcome Lynn.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. Oral evaluations are designed to help speakers recognize their strengths and learn what steps they can take to improve their speaking skills. Evaluation comments are from the point of view of the assigned evaluator only and do not speak for the club as a whole. Our first evaluator, evaluating Toni Gittles, will be Jonathan Dunn. Please help me welcome Jonathan.
Remember Tina, Turner, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, most importantly, my good friend Toni. What's leadership have to do with it? What's leadership? I'll be remiss, I've always wanted to be a singer, and obviously that's not in my future. But Tina Turner, a rock star. Why are you here? That was a rock star opening, Toni. Completely pulled me in personally. It was awe-inspiring. It was powerful. But then you did the famous Toni Gittles move, and the disconnect occurred. The speech deserved more than that. Your eye contact always reminds me of an orbital sprinkler head. You never neglect a single soul in the room with that. Your stance, your gestures, I'm always personally taking notes, which is the greatest compliment that I can give you. Your expressions, very meaningful. But you had some hellacious pauses tonight, and I saw there was something going on with your mouth. And I wanted to come up and give you some water. And it, once again, it was a speech on leadership, but it created some disconnect. The pace of your voice is a standard of excellence. Your pauses, volume, nearly golden. Your pitch, I love it. Pitch perfect. but for a speech on leadership, when you got disconnected at times, the tone of the speech lacked whoop. I knew I was listening to a speech on leadership, but I didn't feel like I was listening to a speech on leadership. As far as the content and objectives go, you analyzed your audience beautifully. I love the phrase of self-actualization. Each and every one of us in this room needs to be living our life in crescendo self-actualization, being a part of that. We are here to build leaders. Complete focus on the audience. You build support for all 4 points with your phrasing, and your handouts, as always, are amazing. But Toni, you got hidden behind this thing. You got hidden. It creates a lack of command for a speech on command. You need to know that everyone in this room, we love you and we support you, and it's time for you to self-actualize and step away from the podium. As far as the closing goes, if you want leadership, you are in the right place. But instead, you looked at that clock and it was, if you want leadership, you're in the right place, Madam Toastmaster. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Jonathan. Our next evaluator will be evaluating Charlie Bobolier. Julian will be evaluating Charlie Smith. Charlie's speech. Demonstration calls. Your handwriting is not very good. Julian is a competent Toastmaster that has been a member of Central Florida Facilitators for 2 years and is working on his Bronze Award and becoming a more effective evaluator. Please help me welcome Julian Cotto evaluating Charlie Bobolier.
Charlie, what a great speech. I remember this speech from before, but this time it was better. What a great opening. 1, 14, 13. It immediately captured your attention. And you were on the edge of your seat wondering, what is this about? And then he gave you the punchline. He said, every 14 seconds, someone is breaking into your house. Immediately you understood what this speech was about, but he did it in such a wonderful, creative way. He presented it and took you by surprise and actually grabbed our attention right off the bat. Now, his speech was a demonstration talk. This is a speech that Charlie can polish, and he can go to chambers of commerce meetings, homeowners associations meetings, and present his trade. He did a wonderful job with his prop. I learned a lot about his speech. One of the goals of the speech was this topic relevant to the audience? Well, how can it not be relevant to the audience? It's something that we all have to deal with. We're all, especially in today's world, we're concerned about our safety. We've got Boston, we've got all kinds of things going on in Oviedo, and we don't want it coming to our home. We learned a lot about thorn bushes, about windows, about nails. And we learned that Charlie actually, after being an alarm salesman for some years, actually put an alarm system in his house. That was a novel idea. You know, I'm glad to hear that you actually follow what you preach. One of the suggestions I have for you, Charlie, is your vocal variety. Now, you had great eye contact. Your vocal variety, you need to work on your vocal variety. think about an opening like this, because it was the same tone all the way around. 14, 13, 12, blah, blah, blah. The FBI says that every 14 seconds, someone is breaking into your house. You see what I'm saying? It makes a different impact. That vocal variety. And if you would have, that brings emotionally, and then you pause. And then all of a sudden everybody's going, oh, that's me. I gotta listen to this guy. Otherwise, it was a great speech. Polish it and go make money with it. Madam General Evaluator.
Julian evaluated Charlie for 3 minutes, 11 seconds, and they both qualified.
Right. So if we can make for best evaluator. We don't need a minute.
Okay.
Now we're going to have the functionary reports. We'll start with the eye count. That's doing a very good job tonight.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. And remember, I am only beeping you for your own good. Tonight's count from Pat Stogner, we had 3 ahs and ums and 2 and so's, stringing sentences together instead of speaking like you write, put a period and start the next sentence. Patty Herrera, I had 4 ahs and ums. Toni Giddles, I had 1 ah and 1 and so. Charlie, just 1 double clutch. Lynn Ayers, 5 ahs and 4 double clutches. Tess, our guest, had 2 ahs and ums and 3 and so's. Michael had 3 ahs. Aviola had 6 ahs and 1 double clutch. Julian had 1 double clutch. And let's see, Susan, Stephen, Jonathan, and Gail, as far as I could hear, were all perfect, but there were some interesting flubs by Gail. So I don't know if those count, and I know I had a few myself. So that's my report.
One of the goals of Toastmasters is to help people learn how to plan and manage effective meetings. The General Evaluator plays a very important role because he or she can help the attendees learn how to improve weak points in the meeting execution while praising strengths and providing positive feedback. So now I will give my evaluation.
Grammarian.
Oh, Grammarian, I'm sorry. You know what? We're going to do something different. We're going to let the Grammarian give her report after I give my evaluation so that she can include me in her comments.
Make it colorful.
So, if you don't mind, Gail, I'm going to go ahead and give my evaluation of the overall meeting. I thought it was an excellent meeting, as always. We started on time. We had a little bit of change to the agenda at the last minute, but it was handled very well. Susan stepped up and filled the vote counter role, which I appreciate. And the only thing I can suggest, everyone was organized and prepared, with the exception of me. So I need to do a better job of remembering what I signed up for. I've had a very busy week at work, and sometimes I get 2 clubs going on at the same time. I get a little bit confused as to what's going on. But the only suggestion that I would like to make as far as the meeting, beginning the meeting for the Sergeant at Arms is maybe have the flag up front. We usually do. I think we just forgot to pull it out. very well. We had two great, excellent speeches. I would like to ask, and I'm guilty of this myself, that we remember to confirm our roles with the Toastmaster. It makes her job a lot easier if we confirm with the Toastmaster and we email our introductions ahead of time to give the people a chance to read them before they stand up here at the lectern. And I'm guilty too. I was hunting Pat down in the hall to give her my introduction. But it would help with that role, making that role a lot easier. Pat, you did an excellent job as Toastmaster. I thought that the table topic session was very fun. It was a fun twist on our theme, remember. The questions were easy, but they still required you to think and to organize your thoughts. So I thought that was fun. I really enjoyed the table topic session. And I thought that we allowed the guests to participate, and I hope they enjoyed that part of the meeting as well. Our evaluators did an excellent job. They started on a positive note, they gave positive feedback, ended on a positive note. Overall, I think we had a very good meeting, and now I'm going to let Gail give the Grammarian's report.
Thank you. This was a fun meeting from my perspective and through these ears. Tonight, whether you were cognizant or not, we had a good array, diversity, use and misuse. Our tenses, our plurals, grammar. So I'm not going to go over my full report, but I'd like to paint some highlights if I might. Jessica led the way, opening up with belly Toastmasters. Repetition rather than repetition. However, in her table topics, loved the phrase, he was my yin of my yang. You never know who you may marry. Pat Stogner. One of our members who is not here, Nathan Chen, is from China. He has a very evident Chinese accent, but we tell him he has a very evident New Jersey accent. Well, Pat, she has a very evident Chinese accent. Timer, it's timer. Speaker, speaker. Hour, ah. Ask, axe. And the best phrase of all, in 9 months, I'm going to have a baby. Some misuse of our plurals, singular, well, with the plurals. Charlie. I wasn't quite sure what you really wanted to say. I got the gist of it, but for example, install alarm systems, you need to know what their purpose are. So could you have phrased that to install an alarm system, you need to know what is the purpose, what are the purposes? Get your tenses, plural, singular, together. Julian Cotto gave us a great demonstration of vocal variety superior. Thank you for being that model for us tonight. Lynn Ayers. just a couple of things. Our general evaluator had indicated that the evaluators are expressing their point of view, not that of the audience. They also are evaluating the project, not the individual. Both evaluators, Lynn introduced them as saying, evaluating Toni Gibbs is evaluating Charlie Bonlier is. Do that twice. So we're not evaluating the speaker, but rather their project.
That's
And
what
then,
I meant.
That's what you meant, yes. And then finally, John Dunn. I think you take the cherry on top of the cake tonight for all of the descriptive pictures. You had such a great command of simple, descriptive words. You blew me away tonight. Start out with rock star, disconnected, lacked warmth, living like in your crescendo, lacks command that a speech commands. The way you just extracted so many different adjectives to give us and paint us such a wonderful evaluation. Kudos to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. All righty, if we could vote for most improved, and I will turn the lectern back over to our President, Toni.
Okay, I got your notes. I'm only a little embarrassed and my lips smacking. That's medication that I'm taking, and I didn't think it was going to be so hard to talk. So.
It's okay, Rubio's still worse.
I loved your comment about Rubio. Very good. I was totally awake. Oh, here, Susan. So, apologies. All right, Lynn, are you prepared to talk about our agenda next week?
I sure am. Okay, we need a thought and a pledge. Person to fill the thought and pledge. Jonathan?
Is that where we're going?
And timer. Patty?
Yes, I'll do it again. And next time I'll get evaluated.
There you go.
I know. I've been doing this. I can do it with my eyes closed. I think it's good here, so I'll remember. I'm too focused on these little buttons over here. This is the thing. All these little buttons. You wait till you have to do this. I'm doing and right. I need to throw.
All right, let me go down real quick. Educational moment. I'm doing. I have Mason signed up as Toastmaster, but I don't believe he'll be here. I'm not sure he will be here. Stephen, speaker. Jonathan, speaker. Mickey, Table Topics Master. Charlie, General Evaluator. Toni, Evaluator. Susan, Evaluator. Patty, Timer. Pat Stogner, Eye Counter. Jessica, Grammarian. No one for Vote Counter yet. So, if I could have someone to be a backup Toastmaster.
Don't take backup, just take.
Just change it.
If Meg was going to be here, give him both.
Okay, would someone like to be Toastmaster? Let's not all speak at once.
I'll do it. I think I'm fine.
Jessica?
Yeah.
Thank you. And that,
What's the theme, or do we have one?
the theme is Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo?
Yeah.
Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah. Tequila.
I have Cinco de Mayo
That
here.
is. Sorry, but Cinco de Mayo is all about tequila. So.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Okay, I'd like to go back to your surveys now, because I didn't get a chance to fully explain these. On the bottom, put your name, please. There's a place for your name, best time to call, contact information I probably have. So first of all, we do have 2 leadership opportunities. We are now engaged with planning the anniversary banquet, June 26th, because it's the 10th anniversary. We haven't yet, but we hope to come up with some special items for the banquet. One of the things we know we're going to be doing is calling past presidents, past members, as well as the current members, and trying to have as many people come back as possible. I'll be chairing that part of the program, and I'm definitely going to need some help. Right now, though, the lists of names are scattered all about, so I'll have to figure out a system to do that. Jessica, I was wondering if do you have any information on our location, or have you had a chance to look at that yet? No, was that enough?
That's enough.
Oh, okay. Do you need any help? Because we can send people out to different. Okay, that's a no. Does it?
I'm thinking most likely I'm going to find out from a couple places, but if that's not it, I think we probably will end up doing it here, most likely. So we'll see.
Stephen, would you be willing to contact the place where you or Omni had that banquet?
It doesn't exist anymore.
It doesn't exist. Okay.
It got torn down.
Does anybody want to help find a location?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
I've got a great relationship with the guy that owns Sam's Needs in Maitland, and he used to let me use the banquet room for free all the time. As long as we buy food there.
Okay.
Which we would buy food there. So.
Yeah, check on the costs
Yep.
of the food and how that would work, or if we could have, what do you call it, buffet style, or order a specific menu.
Typically, that's what we did when I used to get
Okay.
each week, is just have a specific menu.
Okay, I appreciate that, Jen. Thank you. And if anybody else has any you don't have to have contacts. If you see a hotel stuff in or a restaurant, and we would like to nail down if it's going to be here or if it's going to be out. We had a request from Tim Chastain, who is one of the co-founders with Jessica, to try to have it outside of this facility. One of the reasons is if there's going to be a lot of people there, we all are going to be involved in entertaining all of the people. If we're busy messing with food and setting up the room and that kind of thing, it's really going to take away from the people that are involved in being hosts and hostesses. So, also, if you have any ideas, some of you are fairly new members, like Patty. Jessica was the co-founder. She's got 10 years, so does Gail. You know, most of us have been here somewhere in between. But we would like to make it special. If you have some ideas, most of you have been to a banquet before, you know, how we could do it different or better or have some fun. We really want to make it a very social occasion.
Well, let me ask you something. Okay, if we do it at Sam Sneed, which I think it's a great idea, is the club paying for it, or are people going to pay $20 a head to come to the banquet? Because I don't think we've got enough money to
No, we
cover it.
don't.
Yeah, we don't have that kind of money. So I was just wondering how that would work. I think it's awesome. I'd love to do it, because then we got a bar. And I can have my tequila and margarita.
Well, then we also don't have the time constraints.
Right, exactly.
And, you know, all of the
tabletop
work
is
is
an
all-
open bar.
The other thing we were looking at was doing the, what do you call it, the officer installation at the previous meeting, so that that doesn't add to the time. But just some ideas, so whatever you have. Jessica?
I was going to say, as I'm researching places, we'll look at restaurants, so Sam Sneed's, excuse me, beep. We're looking at the hotel where we had the charter, which was the Altamont Hilton, so that's another option. But again, those two, we're going to have to put the cost together with it. And the other option are places that don't have food or drink. But I know some caterers that could provide potentially less expensive options, as well as I happen to be married to a bartender, so we're kind of covered on that side of it. So those are some things that I'm looking at. So just so you know, we're going to look at all those options and put together a little plan on what's going to work best.
So Jessica and Pat is going to chair the decorations committee. We'll have to see where we are and how that evolves, but we need people to assist with all the different committees, and we still need some chair people. Pat and I, Jessica, probably Gail, we've arranged a lot of banquets, so we can tell you what to do if you haven't ever participated in chairing a committee before. You also can get credit in your leadership annual. How about that? See how it works? Yes. Everything we do is about leadership. The other leadership opportunity is officer positions. I've talked about it a couple times. It's a little early to do that, but we do want to have a vote by the end of May, so really we've just got a month left. Many of you have served multiple times in the leadership positions. It would be nice to have some kind of transition, or if you're happy where you are, stay there. This is my 4th time as being president, and it's not because I like the role, it's because I'm trying to get it right this time. That's the do-over thing.
6 more
No.
months. 6 more months. 6 more months.
So anyway, the whole idea of this program is leadership training. Nobody's going to leave you wondering what to do. There's also a club leadership manual that talks about the officer positions. There's plenty of information online. So if you're thinking about it, if you know you're interested, if you could check the appropriate places on this and return it to me, then I will also probably be calling you and have a discussion about it. Another announcement is that we have been invited by Carl Ryder and the Conquerors Toastmaster Club and Winter Park Toastmaster Club to attend a beach party at Carl's house this Saturday? I forgot what time it is. You should have gotten a copy of the invitation. I'll resend that. Please RSVP if you're planning on going. Part of the reason for the invitation is that some of us go anyway. But the real reason is that we've been invited to be one of the co-hosts or pre-hosts for the October party that they have on a regular basis. So it's kind of to check it out. Any other announcements?
Yes. I'm having an event at John's Gym on Saturday from 11 to 3. We're doing free chair massage. There's going to be a new skin representative, and we also have Ann Allen, who just started a new line of funky fitwear. It's very discounted but high quality, and it's at John's Gym, which is 2250 Lee Road. 11 to 3 this Saturday. We really hope to see you guys there. It's a ladies' event, but men are welcome, obviously. So bring your husbands.
Okay, I would like to hear briefly from our guests about how you enjoyed the meeting. Can we start with Michael?
Oh, sure. I'm glad that my friend, the Minuteman, asked me to come to this Toastmasters event because I learned that, first of all, I say a lot. I already knew I did that. And you know, all the buzz, I'm sure I'm going to get buzzed like crazy. So it's good to just have that, an awareness of that, or start to craft that. And your example of the pitch variation was like awesome. And listening to Minuteman up there in his behind the podium doing his little deal was pretty cool too. So it's been a good experience, and I think that my mind's been going just like how powerful this speaking can be, and these topics too, the table topics. I just picture myself at some party and someone's asking me, "When are you happiest?" I'm like, "Damn it, I don't know." So it's just, I can see the value in all these exercises, and so it's cool to be here, and I think that this is going to be a good place for me to develop and grow. So.
Sounds like it was
great.
Bring your checkbook, by the way.
Bring your checkbook. Yeah, bring your checkbook.
The treasurer.
Tess, how about?
I loved it. I mean, I love to talk, so it's a perfect place for me. And you guys are all great.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Last chance to speak.
I'm not sure I would have been here had it not been for Tess's invite, and I'm glad to take her up on the invitation. I like conversing and listening and experiencing people and getting to know people is pretty cool. So I haven't necessarily made a decision about membership per se, but it's just my thought process. I like to, think about it before I actually make a decision. So you might see me again.
Tess, will we see him again?
Yeah, we're all now and then, So it's good too.
Okay, great. The final portion of our program is the awards. You've been voting for best several things. So, and I get to give the Tim Chastain Award, and there's one individual that think this a particularly great tonight and that I appreciated. First of all, he's our new Vice President of Public Relations, but also the table topics was managed really exquisitely. Most improved, Jonathan Don. Best table topics, to our guest, Ms. Tess. Best evaluator, Julian.
Making progress.
Best speaker, Charlie. See you next week. The meeting is adjourned.
Yeah, Julian from Chainsaw.
Oh, man,
Bad
tell
job,
you, man.
man.
I filed the teeth off the saw.
Yeah, no, we got these.
So you ready to make a decision? Let's go.
Did anybody leave a note
What do you
here
got?
about
45 bucks.